Admiral Jack Nelson stood at the viewport of Lunar Command, his weathered face reflecting in the reinforced glass as Earth hung like a blue marble in the distance. The report in his hand confirmed what intelligence had suspected for months. The Arcturians had been watching humanity and they had gotten everything wrong. "They think we're babies," he muttered, tossing the report onto his desk. 200 years old, they say. All because that's when we started making enough radio noise for them to notice. His aide, Lieutenant Sam Green, cleared his throat. "Sir, the Arcturian diplomatic vessel will enter Earth orbit in 48 hours. President Allen wants your assessment before she meets with their ambassador." Nelson ran a hand through his gray hair. "Tell her what I've been saying all along. These aliens think they're dealing with technological toddlers. They don't know about our reverse-engineered tech. They don't know about the Defiance. The ESS Defiance was humanity's ace, a warship unlike anything Earth had officially built before. Hidden in a crater on the far side of the moon, the vessel represented 20 years of secret work after scientists had studied the crashed alien ship in Nevada. The Defiance wasn't just Earth's first true starship. It was a statement that humanity wouldn't be pushed around. "And the president wants to keep it that way," Sam reminded him. "At least until we know what the Arcturians want." Nelson nodded. "Get me Captain Warren. I want her ready to move if things go south." Captain Lisa Warren felt the vibration of the Defiance's engines through the deck plates as she made her morning inspection. The ship hummed with potential energy, like a predator waiting to pounce. "Status report," she called out as she entered. The bridge. Lieutenant Maria Diaz turned from her console. "All systems nominal, Captain. We've been on standby alert for 6 hours. The crew is ready." "Good." Lisa settled into her command chair. "The Arcturians enter orbit tomorrow. Once they're here, we'll be at our highest alert level." "Do you think they'll really try to take over?" Maria asked quietly. Lisa studied the tactical display. The Arcturian ship was large, nearly 3 times the size of the Defiance, but size wasn't everything. Intelligence says they've done it before. They find young civilizations, offer guidance, and before you know it, they're running the show. She tapped her fingers on the armrest. "They call it a protectorate system. I call it colonization with a smile." Chief Engineer Paul Morrison entered the bridge, his uniform sleeves rolled up, showing arms stained with coolant fluid. "Captain, the quantum displacement drive is as ready as it'll ever be. If we need to show ourselves, we'll make quite an entrance." "Let's hope we don't need to," Lisa replied. "But if we do, I want them shocked to their core." On Earth, in the underground complex of Global Defense Headquarters, intelligence analyst Kyle Johnson was connecting the dots. The Arcturian communications they'd intercepted painted a disturbing picture. "Admiral," he said into his secure line, "I've decoded more of their internal messages. They're not just coming to say hello. They have a full protection plan drawn up already. They're going to offer us guidance in exchange for access to our resources." Nelson's voice crackled through the speaker. "Have they mentioned their other protectorates?" "Yes, sir. At least 17 worlds are under their protection. From what I can tell, none of them have advanced beyond the technology level the Arcturians permit. They keep them dependent. Classic colonial strategy," Nelson grunted. "What about their military capabilities? Their ships are impressive, but they're designed to intimidate less advanced civilizations. They're not expecting a fight. They're expecting us to be awed by their technology." "Good. Keep monitoring. I want to know their every move." The Arcturian vessel entered Earth orbit with a display of lights that outshone the stars. It positioned itself deliberately over North America, a not-so-subtle message about where they thought power resided on Earth. In the White House Situation Room, President Allen watched the vessel on the monitors. "They certainly know how to make an entrance," she said dryly. Admiral Nelson stood at her side. "It's all theater, Madam President. They want us impressed." "And are we?" "Not even close. But we'll pretend to be." The communications officer announced, "We're receiving a transmission from the Arcturian vessel. They're requesting to speak with Earth's leadership." The president nodded. "Put it through." The screen flickered, and an alien face appeared. "Hi, Envoy Zorthax had pale blue skin, large eyes, and a ridge of small spines where hair would be on a human. He smiled, showing teeth that were too perfect, too white. "Greetings, people of Earth," he said, his voice smoothly translated. "I am High Envoy Zorthax of the Arcturian hegemony. We have been observing your world with great interest as you take your first steps into the galactic community." President Allen stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth, High Envoy. I am President Susan Allen, elected leader of the United States of America, and I speak on behalf of Earth's United Nations in welcoming you. Your development has been rapid for such a young species," Zorthax continued, his tone friendly but with a hint of condescension. "Just 2 centuries ago, you were limited to primitive steam technology. Now you have basic spaceflight and digital systems. Most impressive." Nelson clenched his jaw. The Arcturians had missed thousands of years of human history, focusing only on the electromagnetic emissions that had begun with radio. They had no idea about the pyramids, the Roman Empire, or the Renaissance. They thought Earth was a baby, civilization. "We are eager to learn," President Allen said, maintaining the facade. "Your visit is a historic moment for our world. Indeed, I request a meeting with your leadership council to discuss guidance protocols for your species. The galaxy can be dangerous for young civilizations without proper mentorship." President Allen smiled diplomatically. "We would be honored. We suggest a meeting tomorrow aboard your vessel, if that is acceptable. We will send a small delegation." "Excellent. We look forward to helping Earth find its place in the galactic order." Zorthax's smile widened. "Rest assured, under Arcturian protection, your development will be carefully managed." The transmission ended, and the president's smile vanished. "Did you hear that, Admiral? Carefully managed. They're not even trying to hide their intentions." "No, they're not," Nelson agreed. "Because they think we're too primitive to understand the implications. They believe we'll be grateful for their guidance. And instead we let them believe what they want for now. We send Henry Clark and the diplomatic team. They play along, learn everything they can about Arcturian intentions." Nelson pointed to the ceiling, indicating the alien ship above. "Meanwhile, Captain Warren and the Defiant stay ready. If the Arcturians push too hard, we show them exactly how wrong they are about Earth." President Allen nodded. "Very well. But we reveal nothing unless absolutely necessary. I don't want to start an interstellar war on our first contact." "Understood, Madam President. But we also won't become anyone's colony." As they spoke, the Arcturian ship loomed in orbit, its crew unaware that humanity was not the inexperienced, naive species they believed. And hidden in the shadow of the moon, the ESS Defiance waited, ready to shatter that misconception with devastating effect. On the bridge of the Defiance, Captain Lisa Warren studied the Arcturian vessel on her screens. "They have no idea what they're walking into," she said quietly. "Let's hope they're quick learners." Henry Clark adjusted his tie as the Earth shuttle approached the Arcturian vessel. A career diplomat with 30 years of experience, he had never imagined his skills would be tested like this. His job today, pretend humanity was far less advanced than it actually was. "Remember," he told his team of 4 other diplomats, "we're supposed to be impressed by everything we see. Act like their technology is magical to us." Dr. Beth Mason, the team's scientific advisor, nodded. "I've practiced my wide-eyed wonder face all week." The shuttle docked with a gentle bump. Henry took a deep breath. "Here we go. For Earth." The airlock opened to reveal a corridor bathed in soft blue light. 2 Arcturians stood waiting, their tall, slender forms making the humans seem stocky by comparison. "Welcome aboard the Celestial Guidance," said the taller one. "I am Second Envoy Krelvor. High Envoy Zorthax awaits you in the conference chamber." Henry bowed slightly. "We are honored by your welcome. This is our first time aboard an alien vessel." As they walked through the ship, the Earth diplomats made sure to gasp and whisper at the right moments. Henry noticed how the Arcturians exchanged satisfied glances at these reactions. They were buying the act. The conference chamber was a large, circular room with a view of Earth through a massive viewport. High Envoy Zorthax stood as they entered, his blue skin almost luminous under the ship's lighting. "Representatives of Earth," he said warmly, "welcome to the future of your species." Henry smiled politely while hiding his irritation at the condescending tone. "We are grateful for your wisdom, High Envoy." The meeting began with presentations about the Arcturian hegemony. Zorthax described their prosperous network of affiliated worlds and their tradition of guiding younger species toward productive roles in galactic society. "For a species as young as yours," Zorthax explained, showing a holographic map of the galaxy, "the transition to the galactic community can be overwhelming. Many dangers exist for civilizations that advance too quickly without proper guidance." "What kind of dangers?" Henry asked innocently. "Resource depletion, cultural shock, technological misuse." Zorthax waved a long-fingered hand. "The path of development must be carefully managed. We have seen many young species destroy themselves when given too much freedom too quickly." Dr. Mason raised her hand like a student. "And you would help us avoid these dangers?" "Precisely," Zorthax beamed. "Under our protection, Earth would be granted controlled access to certain technologies. Your resources would be harvested, sustainably, with a fair percentage allocated for your own use. Your cultural and technological development would progress along approved paths." Henry fought to keep his expression neutral. "And in return?" "You would join 17 other protected worlds under our guidance. Your people would be given appropriate roles in the greater hegemony. Some might even qualify for off-world positions after proper training." The implication was clear. Earth would become a vassal state, providing resources and possibly labor to the Arcturians, all while being told it was for their own good. Meanwhile, aboard the ESS Defiance, Captain Lisa Warren reviewed the live feed from the diplomatic meeting. The Earth delegation wore hidden cameras disguised as decorative pins. "They're not even trying to hide their intentions," she muttered. Her second-in-command, Commander John Price, nodded grimly. "They see us as primitives to be exploited." "Security Chief Grant," Lisa called. "How are the boarding drills coming along?" Olivia Grant looked up from her console. "The teams can suit up and deploy in under 3 minutes now, Captain. If we need to board their vessel, we're ready." "Good. Let's hope we don't need to, but I want options." In the engine room, Chief Engineer Paul Morrison worked frantically to stabilize the quantum displacement drive. The experimental technology was powerful but temperamental. If they needed to reveal themselves, the drive had to work perfectly. "Cooper, hand me that calibration tool," he said to his assistant. The young engineer passed him the device, and Paul made minute adjustments to the drive's containment field. "Will it hold if we need full power?" Cooper asked nervously. Paul nodded. "It'll hold. I've tripled the safety margins. This baby will show those blue-skinned colonizers what humans can really do." Back at Global Defense Headquarters on Earth, intelligence analyst Kyle Johnson worked through the night, analyzing the data from the Arcturian vessel. What he found disturbed him deeply. He connected a secure line to Admiral Nelson. "Sir, I found something you need to see." "What is it, Johnson?" "I've accessed their database through a backdoor in their communication system. I found files on their other protectorate worlds." Kyle's voice grew tight. "It's worse than we thought. They strip mine the planets, use the inhabitants as cheap labor, and suppress any technological development that might threaten their control." Nelson swore under his breath. "Any details on what they plan for Earth?" "Yes, sir. They've already mapped our major resource deposits. They plan to establish their main base in North America, with secondary operations in Africa and Australia. Their estimates show they could extract 60% of our rare Earth elements within 50 years. And the population? Reduced workforce needs with automation. Their projections suggest Earth could sustain its current population for another century before resource depletion would necessitate population management." Nelson's voice grew cold. "They plan to farm us like cattle." "It appears so, sir." "The diplomatic approach is just a formality. According to their records, no species has ever refused their protection." "Well, they haven't met humans before." Nelson paused. Send everything you've found to my secure terminal and to President Allen. And get me a direct line to Captain Warren. Back in the conference chamber, the meeting was reaching its conclusion. Zorthax presented Henry with a data crystal. This contains the full protection treaty, the High Envoy said. Your leaders will find all terms most generous for a civilization at your stage of development. Henry accepted the crystal with a bow. We are grateful for your consideration, High Envoy. I will deliver this to our world leaders immediately. We expect your answer within 7 Earth rotations, Zorthax said, his tone hardening slightly. The benefits of our protection are considerable, but we have many demands on our resources. We cannot extend this offer indefinitely. I understand, Henry replied, keeping his expression humble while his mind raced. 7 days. Not much time to prepare if things went badly. As the Earth delegation prepared to leave, Second Envoy Krelvor approached Henry privately. Your people will make the wise choice, he said quietly. All do, eventually. Those who hesitate often find that cosmic events, asteroidal impacts, solar flares, climate shifts, can make decision-making more urgent. The threat was thinly veiled. Henry nodded as if grateful for the advice while mentally adding, willing to cause natural disasters to the list of Arcturian crimes. As their shuttle detached from the Arcturian vessel, Dr. Mason finally allowed her false smile to drop. Those, condescending, manipulative, she began. Not here, Henry warned, glancing meaningfully at the shuttle walls. Who knew what Arcturian scanning technology might pick up? As Earth grew larger in their viewports, Henry's mind was already formulating his report. The Arcturians had shown their hand. Now it was time for humanity to show theirs. Hidden in the moon's shadow, the ESS Defiance remained on high alert, waiting for the order that now seemed inevitable. President Susan Allen read the report twice, her expression growing darker with each page. The Oval Office was silent except for the soft ticking of the antique clock on the mantel. So that's their game, she said finally, looking up at Henry Clark and Admiral Nelson. They think they can just walk in and take over our planet. Yes, Madam President, Henry replied. They don't even try to hide it. They truly believe we're too primitive to understand what's happening. Admiral Nelson stepped forward. The intelligence Kyle Johnson gathered confirms everything. The Arcturians have done this 17 times before. They find worlds they think are young, offer protection, and then strip them bare. The president stood and walked to the window. The Arcturian ship was not visible from here, but its presence loomed over every decision. How long until they expect our answer? 7 days, Henry said. And they made veiled threats about cosmic events that might happen if we delay. They think they can threaten us? President Allen turned, her eyes flashing with anger. Admiral, I think it's time to change the game. How soon can the Defiance be ready? Nelson smiled for the first time that day. Captain Warren has been ready since they entered orbit, Madam President. Just give the word. The president nodded. Then let's give these Arcturians a history lesson they won't forget. Captain Lisa Warren's heart beat faster as she received the orders from Admiral Nelson. After years of preparation and secrecy, the ESS Defiance would finally reveal itself to the stars. All hands to battle stations, she commanded. This is not a drill. The ship hummed with activity as crew members moved to their positions. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Paul Morrison initiated the quantum displacement drive's startup sequence. Beginning. Power up, he reported through the intercom. Containment field stable. Quantum matrices aligned. On the bridge, Commander John Price coordinated the weapon systems. Defense shields at maximum. Weapon systems ready but inactive as ordered. Lisa adjusted her uniform and took her seat in the command chair. Communications prepared a broadcast on all frequencies, including the Arcturian diplomatic channel. Security Chief Grant, keep boarding teams on standby, but no aggressive actions unless I give the order. She took a deep breath. Navigation, bring us out of lunar shadow. It's time to introduce ourselves properly. High Envoy Zorthax was enjoying a meal with his senior staff when the alert sounded. Second Envoy Krelvor rushed into the dining hall, his face pale with shock. High Envoy, a vessel has appeared from behind Earth's moon. It's approaching rapidly. Zorthax frowned. Earth doesn't have interplanetary vessels of any significance. It must be a simple orbital craft. No, High Envoy. This is like nothing in our records of Earth technology. It appears to be a warship. Zorthax rose quickly, his meal forgotten. Impossible. Their technological level is clear from our observations. The command center of the Celestial Guidance was in chaos when Zorthax arrived. On the main view screen, a sleek vessel approached. Its design was unlike any Earthcraft they had observed, with smooth lines and propulsion systems that shouldn't exist in a civilization barely 2 centuries into its technological development. "They're hailing us," an officer reported. "Put it through," Zorthax ordered, his confusion turning to anger. Someone would pay for this intelligence failure. The screen changed to show a human female in a crisp uniform. "This is Captain Lisa Warren of the Earth spaceship Defiance. I request the presence of High Envoy Zorthax aboard our vessel for an important diplomatic discussion." Zorthax stared in disbelief. "Who are you? How is this possible? Your world doesn't have this technology." Captain Warren smiled slightly. "I believe that's what we need to discuss, High Envoy. Your understanding of Earth is incomplete. We would like to correct some misperceptions." The High Envoy turned to his science officer. "Scan that vessel. I want to know everything about it." After a moment, the science officer looked up, his expression confused. "High Envoy, their power readings they're beyond our scale, and their hull composition includes elements we've never seen combined in this way." Zorthax turned back to the screen. "What trickery is this? Did some other power give you this vessel?" "No trickery, High Envoy," Lisa replied calmly. "This ship was designed and built by humans. We would be happy to give you a tour, as a gesture of genuine diplomatic exchange between equals." The word equals hung in the air. Zorthax felt the eyes of his crew on him. To refuse would show weakness. To accept might be dangerous. But his curiosity overwhelmed his caution. "I will come, with a security detail." "Of course," Lisa nodded. "We'll prepare to receive you in 1 hour." As a small Arcturian shuttle approached the Defiance, Lisa made final preparations. "Remember," she told her crew, "we're not trying to start a war. We're trying to prevent one. Show strength, but not aggression." The Arcturian delegation arrived, with obvious tension. Zorthax stepped aboard the Defiance with 4 security officers, all carrying subtle scanning devices. His eyes darted around, taking in every detail. "Welcome aboard the ESS Defiance," Lisa greeted him formally. "I trust your journey was comfortable." Zorthax didn't bother with pleasantries. "Explain this vessel, it should not exist." "I'll do better than explain," Lisa replied. "I'll show you. Please, follow me." She led the Arcturian delegation through the ship, pointing out systems and technology that clearly surpassed what the aliens believed humans capable of. Zorthax grew increasingly agitated with each revelation. "This propulsion system," he said, staring at the quantum displacement drive behind its protective barrier. "This shouldn't be possible for your species." "That's the thing about humans," Chief Engineer Paul Morrison said proudly. "We don't always do what's expected." The tour ended in a large conference room. As they entered, a holographic display activated, showing images from Earth's long history. The pyramids of Egypt, the Great Wall of China, the Colosseum, medieval cathedrals, Renaissance art, the Industrial Revolution, and more. "You see, High Envoy," Lisa explained, "Earth civilization didn't begin with radio signals. We've been developing for thousands of years. The electromagnetic emissions you detected were just one small part of our journey." Zorthax stared at the display, his worldview crumbling. This changes everything." "Yes, it does," Lisa agreed. "Your protection treaty was based on a fundamental misunderstanding. Earth is not a young, naive civilization in need of guidance. We are an ancient culture with our own path. Zorthax seemed to age before her eyes, his posture sagging. Our entire assessment was wrong. Not entirely, Lisa conceded. We are newer to space travel than many species, but we're quick learners and we value our independence. Zorthax looked at her with new eyes. What do you want from us now? A real diplomatic relationship, between equals. No protectorates, no resource extraction, no population management. Lisa's voice hardened on the last words. Your intelligence analyst Kyle Johnson found your plans for Earth. We know exactly what you intended. The High Envoy had the grace to look ashamed. I must consult with my government. Of course, Lisa nodded. But know this, Earth will not be accepting your protection. We're quite capable of protecting ourselves. As if to emphasize her point, the ship's lights dimmed briefly as the quantum drive sent a pulse of energy through the vessel, a harmless but impressive display of power. Zorthax understood the message clearly. The hunter had suddenly become the hunted, and the game had changed forever. Zorthax returned to the celestial guidance in silence, his mind racing. The humans had completely upended his mission. Everything the Arcturian hegemony believed about Earth was wrong. Send a message to the Arcturian Council, he told his communications officer. Urgent priority, Code Vex 9. Second Envoy Krelvor approached cautiously. High Envoy, what are your orders? The crew awaits guidance. Zorthax stared at the image of the Defiance on the main screen. I need time to think. This changes our entire approach. But time was a luxury Zorthax would not have. The communications officer called out, High Envoy, we're receiving a transmission from Fleet Commander Zaldur. His battle group has arrived. At the edge of the solar system. Zorthax felt a cold dread. Battle group? I requested no such thing. The orders came directly from the Council, Krelvor explained. Standard protocol for new Protectorate establishment. On the screen, Fleet Commander Zaldur appeared, his crimson military uniform adorned with campaign medals. High Envoy, my battle group stands ready to secure the new Protectorate. Has the planet accepted our terms? Zorthax hesitated. Commander, the situation has evolved. Earth is not what our intelligence suggested. Zaldur's expression hardened. Explain. They have advanced technology we were unaware of, including a warship with capabilities matching our own. The fleet commander laughed. One ship? My battle group consists of 6 heavy cruisers and 12 support vessels. No single Earth vessel could pose a threat. I've been aboard their ship, Zorthax insisted. Their technology is unexpected. We should reconsider our approach. The Council's orders are clear, Zaldur replied dismissively. Earth will become a protectorate. If they resist, we will demonstrate the consequences of defiance. My battle group will arrive in Earth orbit within 6 hours. The transmission ended before Zorthax could object further. He turned to Krelvor, his voice low. This is a mistake. The humans will not submit easily. What can one ship do against a battle group? Krelvor asked. Zorthax stared out at the blue planet. I don't know, but I fear we're about to find out. On the Defiance, Lisa Warren received the intelligence update with growing concern. They've called in a battle group? Kyle Johnson's face was grim on the communication screen. Yes, Captain. Our deep space sensors detected them entering the solar system. Intelligence estimates 18 vessels total, including 6 heavy cruisers. Lisa turned to her crew. It seems the diplomatic approach wasn't as successful as we hoped. What are your orders, Captain? Commander Price asked. Lisa studied the tactical display. Contact Admiral Nelson. We need to activate Earth's orbital defense platforms and prepare the Defiance for possible combat. We won't fire first, but we will respond, if threatened. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Paul Morrison worked frantically with his team. Cooper, redirect power to the shield generators. Peters, I need the quantum drive at combat readiness. The drive wasn't designed for battle maneuvers, Peters objected. It could become unstable. I've been working on modifications, Paul replied. If we route the excess energy through the secondary systems, we can use the quantum displacement effect tactically. He paused. It's theoretical, but it might give us an edge against multiple opponents. Peters looked skeptical, but began the modifications. Admiral Nelson stood in the Global Defense Command Center, watching as technicians activated long-hidden orbital platforms. For decades, Earth had been secretly preparing defenses while maintaining the appearance of a less advanced civilization. All platforms online, Admiral, reported the defense coordinator. Cloaking systems disengaged. Around Earth, 24, satellite weapons platforms became visible. Their stealth systems deactivated for the first time. Each contained energy weapons and defensive shields, far beyond what the Arcturians believed possible for Earth technology. President Allen joined Nelson in the command center. The Arcturian High Envoy is requesting an emergency meeting, she said. He seems desperate to prevent conflict. Nelson nodded. Good, but we continue preparations. The fleet commander might not share the envoy's caution. On the bridge of his flagship, the Subjugator, Fleet Commander Zaldur reviewed the tactical situation. One Earth vessel and some orbital platforms. Nothing that should concern us. His tactical officer looked less certain. Commander, our scans show unusual energy. Signatures from both the Earth vessel and those platforms. They don't match our records of Earth technology. The High Envoy has become overly cautious. Zaldur dismissed the concern. This species is barely 2 centuries into their technological development. They cannot possibly threaten us. As the battle group approached Earth orbit, Zaldur opened a channel to all Earth communication systems. People of Earth, I am Fleet Commander Zaldur of the Arcturian hegemony. Your planet is now under our protection. Deactivate your defensive systems and prepare to receive our guidance teams. Resistance will be met with necessary force. In the HFY Oval Office, President Allen heard the message with cold anger. Admiral, it seems diplomacy has failed. Yes, Madam President, your orders? She straightened her shoulders. We will not fire first, but we will show them exactly what Earth is capable of. Captain Warren has my authorization to defend Earth, by any means necessary. The Defiance moved to position itself between Earth and the approaching Arcturian battle group. Captain Lisa Warren opened a channel to the Subjugator. Fleet Commander Zaldur, this is Captain Warren of the ESS Defiance. Earth rejects your so-called protection. We request that you withdraw from our solar system immediately. Zaldur's laugh echoed through the bridge. One ship against my battle group? Your courage is admirable but misplaced, Captain. This is your final warning, Lisa replied calmly. Earth is not defenseless, and we are not the primitive species you believe us to be. Enough talk, Zaldur snapped. Subjugate yourselves or be subjugated. The transmission ended. Lisa looked at her crew, their faces determined but tense. Battle. Stations. Shields at maximum. Prepare quantum displacement tactical maneuver. Commander Price looked worried. Captain, even with our technology, we're outnumbered 18-1. Numbers aren't everything, Commander, Lisa replied. Paul, is the quantum drive ready for tactical use? The chief engineer's voice came through the intercom. Ready, Captain, but I can't guarantee what will happen when we activate it. This is untested technology. Understood. Lisa took a deep breath. We're about to make history one way or another. On her tactical display, the Arcturian vessels moved into attack formation. Earth's orbital platforms powered up, their weapons locking onto targets. And in the space between, the ESS Defiance prepared to show the Arcturians exactly what they had underestimated. The standoff had begun, and the fate of Earth hung in the balance. The Arcturian battle group spread into attack formation, weapons charging. Fleet Commander Zaldur stood confidently on the bridge of the Subjugator, certain of his victory. Target the Earth vessel first, he ordered. Once it's destroyed, the primitives will understand resistance is futile. His weapons officer acknowledged the command. Target locked, Commander. Zaldur smiled coldly. Fire. Energy beams lanced out from 3 Arcturian cruisers, converging on the Defiance. "Captain." Lisa Warren gripped her command chair. "Shields holding," reported Commander Price, surprise evident in his voice. "Minimal power drain." Lisa nodded. "Paul's modifications worked. Return fire, targeted disabling shots only. We want to end this conflict, not escalate it." The Defiance fired precise beams that struck the weapon systems of 2 Arcturian vessels, disabling them without causing catastrophic damage. Xaldur stared in disbelief. How did they withstand our combined fire? And their targeting precision? He slammed his fist on his console. "All vessels, full attack pattern." As the Arcturian ships moved to surround the Defiance, Earth's orbital platforms activated, firing, warning shots across the paths of several enemy vessels. "Captain," called Communications Officer Maria Diaz, "we're receiving multiple new signals. Unknown vessels are entering the system." Lisa tensed. "More Arcturian reinforcements?" "No," Maria replied, studying her console. "Different configurations. Entirely. At least 7 distinct ship designs, none matching Arcturian patterns." The tactical display showed the newcomers, a diverse collection of vessels approaching from multiple vectors. They took positions forming a loose sphere around both the Earth forces and the Arcturian battle group. "We're being hailed," Maria announced, "by the largest of the new vessels." "On screen," Lisa ordered. The view screen showed an alien unlike any the humans had seen before. 6-limbed with iridescent scales and compound eyes, it regarded Lisa with what seemed like curiosity. "I am Observer Trelzax of the Galactic Oversight Coalition," the alien announced. "This conflict has drawn our attention. The Arcturian hegemony's expansion practices have been of concern for some time." Another communication window opened, showing an alien with features resembling an Earth octopus. "I am Representative Oloran of the Free Worlds Alliance. Many of our members were once Arcturian protectorates, who gained independence through great sacrifice." More communication windows opened, showing leaders from various species. Some looked almost like Earth animals, others were utterly alien, but all shared one thing: interest in the conflict between Earth and the Arcturians. Fleet Commander Xaldur's face appeared, his composure cracking. "This is an internal hegemony matter. These species are interfering in our rightful expansion." "The days of unchecked Arcturian expansion are ending," Observer Trelzax replied. "Earth has demonstrated a right to self-determination. This conflict will be resolved peacefully." 12 hours later, representatives from Earth, the Arcturian hegemony, and 7 other galactic powers gathered aboard the neutral vessel belonging to the Galactic Oversight Coalition. The large conference chamber buzzed with translators and diplomatic aides. President Susan Allen led Earth's delegation with Admiral Nelson, Captain Warren, and Henry Clark beside her. The Arcturians were represented by a subdued Zorthax and a fuming Xaldur. Observer Trelzax opened the proceedings. "We are here to resolve the dispute between Earth and the Arcturian hegemony, and to address the larger issue of hegemony expansion practices." President Allen spoke first. "Earth seeks only our independence and the right to develop on our own path. The Arcturians came to our world under false pretenses, believing us to be a young, naive species they could exploit." She gestured to a holographic display showing Earth's long history. "Our civilization spans thousands of years. We chose different developmental paths than the Arcturians expected, focusing on efficiency and miniaturization rather than scale." Representative Aloran's tentacles rippled. "The Free Worlds Alliance recognizes Earth's right to self-determination. Our own members fought for centuries to escape Arcturian protection." Other representatives voiced similar support. The evidence was clear. The Arcturians had been systematically misrepresenting their protection program. Xaldur could barely contain his anger. "The hegemony has brought order and progress to primitive worlds for millennia. We have the right—" "You have no right to exploit other species," Captain Warren interrupted. "Your own records show your true intentions. Thanks to our intelligence analysts' work, we know exactly what you planned for Earth." The gathered representatives reviewed the evidence Kyle Johnson had collected. The room grew tense as the extent of Arcturian exploitation became clear. Finally, observer Trelzax addressed the Arcturian delegates. The coalition has reached a decision. The hegemony must withdraw all forces from Earth space immediately. Furthermore, all current protectorate relationships must be reviewed by a neutral committee with representatives from all worlds involved. Zorthax sighed in resignation. The hegemony accepts these terms. I do not, Zaldur shouted, rising from his seat. We will not be dictated to by lesser. Fleet Commander, Zorthax cut in sharply. You are relieved of command, effective immediately. Stand down. Security personnel from multiple species surrounded Zaldur. After a tense moment, he sat down, defeated. 1 month later, Captain Lisa Warren stood on the bridge of the Defiance as it prepared for its first official diplomatic mission. Earth had been recognized as a sovereign power in the galactic community, and the ESS Defiance would carry Ambassador Henry Clark to meet with representatives from potential allies. Course laid in, Captain, reported the navigator. The Galactic Council space station awaits our arrival. Admiral Nelson's voice came through the communications system. Captain Warren, you carry the hopes of Earth with you. Make us proud. We will, Admiral, Lisa replied. She turned to her crew. Humanity has waited thousands of years for this moment. We're not just explorers now. We're diplomats, traders, and equals among the stars. Commander Price smiled. All because the Arcturians thought we were young. Their mistake, Lisa replied. A mistake that changed the galaxy. She settled into her command chair and gave the order that would echo through human history. Engage quantum drive. Take us to the stars. The ESS Defiance's engines glowed as the quantum displacement field formed around the ship. In a flash of energy that represented the culmination of human ingenuity and determination, the vessel disappeared from Earth orbit, carrying humanity's representatives to their rightful place among the civilizations of the galaxy. On Earth, people looked up at the night sky with new understanding. They were not alone, and they were not helpless. They had struck back against those who would conquer them, not with violence, but with the revelation of their true strength. The stars were no longer distant points of light. They were destinations, filled with challenges and opportunities for a species that had finally found its place in the universe. The Arcturians had thought Earth was young, but humanity had struck with a starship and in doing so, had forever changed its destiny.